Welcome to ARDUN powered 1936 Ford 3-window coupe, episode 3. It's been ages since I've posted a video and I don't think I've done much work, but when I look back I have been very busy, as have some other people. Today I'm just going to go through some of those details. The obvious thing, that the door's been fitted, the boot, roof insert, the dash and steering column, the radiator and the wiring. We're going to go into some details on all of that. The roof insert has now been inserted, and I'm certainly happy to have Mark Grant from Dynamic Motor Trimming doing the job, and I certainly look forward to the rest of the trim. Thank you, Mark. 1936 was the final year for a roof insert to be used in the Fords, and I used a Mark 10 Jag roof insert and reprofiled all the timbers and Sikaflexed it around the outside edges only. If you use Sikaflex in the middle, it can pull a dent into it when it goes into the sun. A big thank you to Dandenong Radiators. Vaughan did a terrific job. Very big undertaking. The top tank is the only original part on it, and everything else is manufactured. I made a jig first because on a 1936 Ford, every piece of sheet metal comes off the front of the radiator, and if it's out a couple of mil, it can be a real problem. So a jig was made, and that was referenced to continually. The side straps, I remade them, and that accommodated a front-mounted thermo fan. The bottom tank was remanufactured, and that has extra bracing in it. And the standout feature on it is the radiator cap. It is a pressurized cap. Originally they weren't. And the trouble with a pressurized cap is when they relieve, the hose on it is above the top tank. And on a 36, that hits the bonnet. So what we did is we internally ported the overflow so it's inside the tank and it exits on the bottom header plate near the side rail and then goes all the way down the side strap. That was a huge undertaking to make all of that happen, and Vaughan did a terrific job. I certainly do appreciate him. I'm privileged to have the wiring done by Kim Long from Long's Automotive Wiring. Tremendous job there. He followed all my details, and there's no holes drilled in the car. Everything's tucked away beautifully, and very, very neat work. If anybody needs any work done on hot rods, and especially turbo barrows and all the implications involved in water injection and nitrous and turbos, Kim's your man. I can't recommend him enough. And basically two wiring harnesses. One is just a standard wiring harness for lighting, dash, and that's in the left-hand kick panel. And the original battery location houses a computer, and all of the computer harness and wiring comes out of that, across the tunnel and into the engine bay, and that also handles the spark. Battery's located in the rear quarter panel and has an electric isolator out of an aircraft, and that's very neat work there once again by Kim. The doors and boot lid have now been painted and fitted to the car, including the glass, and it's had another cut and polishing, all done by Scott Ormerod. I certainly do thank him. Absolute quality. Thanks, Scott. Also, we had a little bit of difficulty with some polishes being acrylic paint. We now have a polish that is much more suitable for acrylic, and it protects it better. So you've got to be a bit careful with acrylic and don't use 2-pack polishes on it. The steering column I made from scratch, and I would hate to imagine how many hours are in that. Easily 200 or 300. A stainless steel inner and outer, a complete fabricated floor mount from billet. Inside, very close to the floor, is a universal, and the difficulty of all of this work is that the ARDUN cylinder heads, right at the back where the normal column comes out, there's a cylinder head. So the column had to be dropped down about 3 inches. Alternatively, the dash column dropper is a 37 Ford, not a 36, and that gains me half an inch. And I've got another half an inch spacer underneath that to try and get the steering column angle a little bit better. A 1940 Ford steering wheel, and where the original gear shift was, there's now an indicator, and that goes down to a box that I've fabricated, and inside that box is an indicator mechanism, a horn pickup, a flasher can, and some indicator lights. So there's no extra drillings in the original dash. The dash is all standard and all the gauges are original. However, the temperature gauge has been converted from a fuel gauge and is now electric. Originally they were alcohol. And the speedo is a pretty rare item. It's kilometers an hour speedo from Argentina. Mark Grant from Dynamic Motor Trimming is taking care of the roof insert and started on the seats with all of the padding, and we've been fitting up myself, make sure everything's comfortable, and I'm certainly looking forward to working with Mark. I've made a lot of aluminium panels for inside of the car and armrests and features like that, and Mark will have to finish those for the final fit, and he's pretty fussy on all of that, and I'm certainly looking forward to the upholstery. Thanks for watching the video. If you could like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you.